Good afternoon, everyone, and in my mother's tongue, marhaba. My name is Layleen, and I'm a Nicaraguan Palestinian of the diaspora. Both sides of my family arrived in Australia on the backs of colonial violence and Western interventionism. My great-grandmother Hanne came from Haifa and was pregnant with her 5th child during the nakba in 1948. I am here safe and able to speak to you today because of her sacrifices when she fled the occupation. She did not want to leave Haifa, her ancestral home, her olive trees that had been handed down through countless generations, but she had no choice, for what she and my grandparents' generation experienced during the Nakba was beyond words or any definition of dehumanization. Houses set on fire with families still inside, men executed in front of their families, heavily pregnant women lined up so soldiers could bet on whether they were carrying a boy or a girl. And how did they check for gender? They cut open the women's stomachs and ripped their fetuses out. I want you to take a moment to really let that sink in, that these Zionists found within themselves a level of hatred and perversion that they were able to take defenseless, pregnant women who had been traumatized by witnessing the execution of their families and the destruction of their homes, who then had to be put through the horror of having their bellies sliced open and their unborn children torn out. This level of barbarity did not cease after the first Nakba, but continued throughout the years and into the current genocide. Massacres in multiple villages throughout the 50s and 60s, white phosphorus bombs on Jerusalem in 2005, on May the 7th in 2020 alone, Israel carried out 117 attacks on healthcare facilities across Gaza and the West Bank in breach of international law. The list goes on and the crimes get uglier. When we say it has been 75 years, we mean it has been 75 years of ongoing bloodshed, settler violence and humiliation. If children were not torn from their mothers by death, then they were with prison sentences of fabricated lies or fed petty offenses such as throwing rocks. Well, let me say that I am proud of every rock thrower. Because to be a rock thrower is to stand against tanks. It is to stand against armed soldiers, against an invading billion-dollar army backed by Western superpowers with nothing but the earth beneath your feet, and to still have the will to rebel. To persist for decades in spite of all the dead, the torture, the grief. Our beloved Palestinian poet, Mahmoud Darwish, once said that there is not enough justice in the pages of the holy book to make martyrs rejoice in their freedom of walking across the clouds. And indeed, what kind of justice can there possibly be now, with over 24,000 dead, with every single hospital bombed, and 8,000 innocents still missing beneath the rubble? Ladies and gentlemen, I am a bitter girl. Though I personally have known nothing of suffering, I am bitter for my ancestors who were forced into exile to walk from Palestine with nothing but the clothes on their backs. I am bitter for every child who has been amputated this past hellish few months. And I am bitter because I want my country to know peace. In my lifetime, I want to return. The nearby University of Sydney has a rather telling motto. The stars have changed, but the mind stays the same. Well, I am here to tell you that this is correct, both in regards to our government and our institutions, to say nothing of the state of Israel as a whole. The colonial mind, the genocidal mind, the mind that committed atrocities against the indigenous Australians, that has supported Israel since its inception. This mind has certainly not changed. Our government is complicit in this genocide. The people demand we call for a ceasefire, yet Senator Penny Wong, in her infinite empathy, shakes hands with Israeli Herzog, saying that our nation stands with Israel. We must hold them accountable for their inaction. There could have been a ceasefire in October were it not for the USA's vetoes, for the Western loyalty to money over morality, over innocent lives. It is our duty to the martyrs, but more so to those who remain, to continue to pressure our government to participate in the strike week organized by the journalist Bisan that starts today. The International Criminal Court still has a portal open where you can submit evidence of Israel's war crimes and genocide. Ceasefire now and an end to the occupation. Free Palestine! Thank you.